like, oh, I reckon. And they had no idea what that meant. And I kept saying it, and they were very confused. They were like, what are you reckoning? Like, why are you reckoning?
What is reckoning? What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Interesting Discussion Sometimes. Back here with the boys, we got Tarun, Haran, and Christian. And today we got two special guests. Probably the first time we have people recording outside of the US.
I think so, yeah. I think
it's
so.
crazy. My cousins, Sheena and Rena, they're recording from Australia. So it's Saturday. You want to introduce yourself to the podcast?
Okay, hi, I'm Sheena. As he said, I am his cousin. We are from Melbourne, Australia, and super excited to be on.
And I'm Rena. All the same, really. I'm 19 and Sheena is 23. So
awesome. Do you want to share a little bit about what you guys do out there? I mean,
what do you mean out there? Down there?
Outback or something.
In the outback, yeah. Okay, so pretty much I'm doing a Juris Doctor right now, so like a JD, postgrad law. I'm in my second trimester of my first year, and so far it's been good. And I also work in a medical clinic. I guess that's pretty much all there is to it.
And I'm in my last year of my Bachelor of Commerce, so my third year. I go to uni in the city, and we live very far away from the city, so I commute there every day. It takes an hour and a half up and down. Just up, and an hour and a half down as well. And I also work in a bar and a cinema at the same time.
Oh. Wow.
So, Sheena, you mentioned that you go to law school. You want to share a bit about like some of what you do at law school, or like what type of classes you take? Because we don't know anybody that goes to law school.
Okay.
Or like you want to share a little bit about the classes you took or anything?
Yeah, so this semester I'm doing contracts and public law. I did criminal law last semester, which probably thus far was my favorite unit. Probably would never go into criminal law, only because I would love to have a family. So don't know if that's the best sort of balance, but no, I think so far I've been enjoying it. It's a lot of stress. The other night I was up till like 5 a.m. doing morning, I guess, doing an assignment. So yes, I'm running on very few hours of sleep, but you know, it's good. The end goal would hopefully worth all the stress and the pressure that we're doing. Yeah, that takes during law school.
Do you watch a lot of like criminal law shows or like stuff like Suits or
yes.
I don't know what other ones? Yeah.
So I used to watch Suits quite a bit. But what I've realized, apparently it's nothing like it. Who would have thought? But yeah, I've been told it's nothing like it. But it's really interesting. I like the difference that you see in like Suits and then what it actually is like. It's quite interesting to see like how they actually make a show. And a lot of people think that's how it is in real life, but really it's, no.
Does it feel better like now that you kind of know like what the hell they're talking about? Like, does it feel better knowing that you're like technically smarter than what's like?
Honestly, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes when you watch the episodes now, like you can actually understand some of the concepts that they use, which like when I first started watching, I would never get it. So it's quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that show is all about like exaggerated depositions, like behind the back deals, just like getting the name on the wall like it's nothing. I don't know. It's a good show.
70% of that show is them just changing the name on the wall. People coming to the show.
It's a great show. It's a great show. One of my favorites.
For sure.
Haran's favorite character in the show is Ava Hessington.
No, it's not. I hate her, man. She ruined the show. Don't do this.
And then Rena, you said you work at a bar and the cinema outside of your school. Like, how's that?
It's pretty good. I joined as soon as I turned 18 because obviously the drinking age in Australia is 18. So nice. I started on my 18th birthday, so I had to get my alcohol license and like do that. But it's really chill. I've become more of like a movie buff since working there because we get cheap tickets. So like every second week, me and Sheena go to the movies, or at least every week almost whenever we're free, and just go see whatever's on. But it's like a really good contrast because it's super like not intense, very chill, just interacting with people, learning new skills, which I feel like is a good party trick as well.
Yeah.
Like if I'm ever at a party, I can bartend there. So it's really fun. And yeah, it's just an easy break because obviously school's a bit intense, and I like having the recluse of like working in the night, going to school during the day, working till past midnight, and then starting again. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
With your commute in uni, like how do you even have time in the day? I feel like it sounds like a lot.
It's not too bad. I'm lucky because I have very few contact hours, so I only go in on 2 days a week.
Okay.
And my technical physical contact hours are only like 6 hours a week. So I just do it. What I do usually is I'd go during the day, and then work starts at like maybe like 5 or 6, and then I can work till like 10 or 11. And it's really just like common here to always, you know, work and study. It's not uncommon to do it. So I guess you just have to find a way. Otherwise, you're just the one that's not going to have money for food or transport or things like that. So yeah.
What's your best drink?
Oh, right now everyone's ordering Negronis because of that meme. I don't know if you've seen it. So like I've gotten really good at making this. It's like the House of the Dragon meme, like
oh yeah,
that interview. I don't know, it was really popular here. There was like this interview that went viral where one of the main actors said their favorite drink was a Negroni, and then so I make like 6 of those every shift now. I consider it like an old man's drink, but it's I'm quite good at it now as time's gone on.
No, I can't drink that shit, man. The vermouth.
Yeah, it's strong.
No.
Vermouth. Exactly.
Have you come across like any crazy stories of people at the bar that you work at?
There's this one guy who comes in every couple of days, and he just eats a whole watermelon. Like he
order that at a bar?
Yeah, I don't know. No. He like buys it from the shopping center downstairs, and then he comes up and he just sits there and just eats a watermelon. And we call him Watermelon Guy. And he has like
would you ever get a drink to pair it up with? Or he just eats a watermelon. Okay,
He just comes and I'll get water, and he'll just come and sit and eat a watermelon. And we've noticed recently it's like a regular thing that he does, and no one questions it. So.
Fair enough. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that drink where they take like a handle of like vodka or rum or whatever, and they just put it in a watermelon?
Yeah. Well, we don't do that, but like maybe he'll ask for it one day.
Maybe on his birthday. You know, you could do that for him.
We'll have to figure out his birthday and we can give him a surprise.
So how long have you guys lived in Australia for?
So we came together obviously, but I came when I was 7, she was 3. So
16 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't do the math, but obviously, 16. Yeah.
So do you guys remember like anything about living in India before you moved?
No. I wish I could say yes, but no. I guess like when we go back sometimes, like you'll like see small things and you'll be like, oh yeah, like that was like a memory that maybe, but Rena was 3, so I don't know if she actually remembers much. I remember a little bit, and I do have some friends who for some reason still like they live there, so like when we go back sometimes we try meet up, but very rarely. We hardly go back, so it's
Yeah, I think it's only when we like see the friends that we knew we had, like I don't remember hanging out with them, but I knew they were like our friends. So when we go see them, it's like, oh, we actually did live here for a period of time. And they remember us, and they have photos of us like in their house. So obviously we were there, you know, we were present at least.
And then you guys recently did a trip to the US like last month, I guess.
Yes.
How was that? Where did you go?
So we started off in LA, and then we did LA, Texas, New York, Washington, Virginia. I guess that's where we stayed with Harsha. And then Atlanta, and then back to Texas. So honestly, so far, probably one of the best holiday destinations that I've been to. And because we've got so much family there, it's just really nice to see all the cousins. And the fact that we hadn't seen like Harsha and Varun since apparently we saw each other when we were young. I don't remember it. So it was a good like bonding thing, even though it was like 2 days. Like it was good to know, okay, we actually have these cousins. But out of the whole trip, I think, I don't know, Rena probably would agree as well. New York's probably the highlight. By far.
Yeah. We said, oddly enough, Virginia was very similar to Melbourne. Like the closest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, compared to Texas or Georgia, it was the most like here. I don't know why. It just felt like more homely.
It was a lot of like public transport as well. Like it was very similar to like, because Melbourne has like some of the best public transport like in the world apparently. So it was kind of cool to see. Not many US states actually had a lot of like the train systems and anything like that. So I guess that's one difference that we saw. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. What'd you like so much about New York? Why was it top of the list?
We've done LA before, last time we came over to the States. And when we went this time, we just noticed it was quite, I don't want to say like run down, but it wasn't as interesting as it seemed when you were like 8 and 12. Like that's the last time we went. We were really young and we went to Disney and that was like the big thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas this time it was just like, I guess the facade was gone because we'd done it before. Whereas with New York, we just had really, really high expectations and it like exceeded those expectations. Just how it was constantly moving and how like it looked like what you'd imagine and the weather was really cold and the people were like fully around you and it was just exactly what you expected but more, and it felt kind of surreal. And I think that for me at least it was that's why it was like so important, because I had such high expectations and it got better than that when you're actually there with everything that was actually going around. So that's why I really liked it, at least.
I mean, just to add to that, I think we were in LA only for about 4 days. And I think the highlight was we did do like a studio tour, which I think was, so cool because like you see so many shows and like, you know, Big Bang Theory, Friends, all of that sort of thing. Even like she saw Abbott Elementary, like some of the sets that are on there, super cool. But yeah, the actual like LA section, like the Walk of Fame and stuff, very run down. And compared to New York, it just, I don't know. It was just, the vibe was just a lot nicer. It was just, like the dress up, like the way people dressed in like LA was giving very much like influencer vibes, whereas like New York was very much like corporate, like people who've kind of made it sort of thing. So yeah, I think it was just totally different, like stark differences compared to the two. Yeah.
Haran, are you really excited to move to LA after you heard all that?
I'm not actually moving to LA. I'm moving south of LA. I'm moving like Orange County. I honestly don't see myself going up to LA that often because I've already been like I think 4 times now in my life, and I feel like I've seen all the touristy spots. So I think I'll only ever go if like people will like come visit and they're like, oh, let's go to LA, and I'm like, okay, I guess. But I feel like I'm kind of over most of it, to be honest. Honestly, I'll be down to go back to Disney because I've been Disneyland in a long time. But yeah,
I was gonna say, is it really common for you guys to like move away from the states you're from? Because it seems like all of you are moving around quite a bit.
I think when you're young, I think that's kind of the norm. I could see myself living in Nova again, maybe in the future for a little bit. But sorry, Northern Virginia. That's what, I don't know if you know what that's what Nova was. But I think it is common for most people to like at least try like 2 or 3 different cities after they graduate.
Yeah,
when you're young.
Yeah, I think once you graduate college and like get your first job, I feel like a lot of those like here in the US are like outside of where you live, because I guess it's different for us because when we graduated it was still like during pandemic, right? So like all the work was from home and like you didn't have to move or anything like that. But now that things have opened up here a lot, like I just moved to Virginia like 4 months ago from like Boston. So like, and I went to school in Virginia too, obviously. So it's like flip-flopping back and forth. But I think it is common like for people in their like early to mid 20s to like move around a little bit, like what Haran said. But I think once you reach like late 20s or late 30s, I think people start to settle down more and they don't jump around as much.
Yeah, that's so interesting, so different here. I think that's why Rena was asking the question, because it's really not, like I'm 23 and I like all my friends obviously 23, 24. No one has moved out of house. I think one of my friends has, and if anything, it's we move into the city. So that's like your downtown sort of situation. We don't really move into state. I mean, I guess we don't really have that many states to move to, 6 states. But yeah, I think like at most people just move out. They'll get an apartment, that sort of thing. Once they get a full-time job, so to be closer to their job. But yeah, not really for any other reason.
Yeah, I'm moving mainly for my job, to be honest. I don't think I would move cross country if it wasn't for that, realistically. But I'm looking forward to it, though. I feel like West Coast, nice weather, should be fun. I think it would be nice if, like what you said, like a lot of your friends are still in the area. I think that's like my main appeal. I wish like we all four of us were like living outside of home, but like really close to each other, so we could still have a good time. But
nah, it's okay, man. Sorry.
Yeah, Christian moved to where we live, and then we all left.
Yeah, and then they all moved.
Tarun's moving to New York next week, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. I don't know what to expect. I have to get used to the smell. The piss on the streets and stuff. But it should be a good time. I guess I'm only planning to be there for a couple years. I don't know where I'll be after, but I definitely see myself like coming back here to Northern Virginia after a while. But it's definitely more of like I wouldn't say like just like family, but like it's like a chill vibe, you know. And I think I could have more fun than I do here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Are you guys more like suburban people or like city sort of?
I think I would be better in a suburban area, but I do kind of want to live in a city area for at least once in my life and to like just experience it, because I have like very low expectations for my lifestyle there. But I'll just test myself, I guess. But I definitely wouldn't want to raise a family in a city. I feel like that might be like hell on earth, honestly.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Is there anything you noticed about Americans when you came here, like that you were just like, oh shit, this is exactly like what it's like in movies and TV shows versus like, I don't know, is there any like stereotypes that were like either confirmed or denied?
Look, I was really looking forward to seeing like a Karen. We didn't actually run into her.
She
didn't go to the right states.
Yeah, it was honestly pretty disappointing. Like, I wanted to see a little bit of fighting, you know.
We saw those people on the boat in New York, remember, who were getting angry because people were standing in front of them.
Oh, yeah. That was like snapping. The closest we got.
Yeah.
Stereotypes.
They were snapping at people.
I feel like New York has the most agitated people. Like, area.
Yeah, they don't really smile. Like, it's kind of like you're kind of just like walking past each other. If you smile, it's like they know you're not from there. That's what I'm getting the vibe of.
Yeah. I remember one time Sheena and I were like, we were like just talking, and then we didn't like, we started singing or something. We did something, and everyone turned and looked at us. Like, but in Australia, everyone just minds their own business. Like, you can be like screaming and no one cares. And if you bump into someone, you like smile at someone walking past and no one cares. Whereas there, everyone is very like, mind your own business. Like, don't look at me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. And I think, I don't know, stereotypes?
I think like maybe in Texas.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
I was going to say.
Where in Texas did you guys go to?
Houston and San Antonio.
Okay.
I mean, we did go to Austin for like a day, but which we found was really interesting compared to the other cities in Texas, because I think it's very much more like work. I guess that's what people say.
Yeah.
But stereotypes, honestly, I was just scared that there was going to be some sort of gun thing.
Fair enough,
Very
fair.
We're like, after like everything that happened, we were stressed. Like, because like we saw a few like security guards or like police officers with like the rifles, which we never see that here. So it's like very interesting. Yeah.
I mean, you guys stayed along like the edge of the US. I feel like if you guys went in the middle, like you could literally go to like a department store and pick up a gun.
Yeah, we saw that in Texas as well. We actually took a photo in like Walmart. At the back of Walmart, there was like the guns, and we were like, oh.
Right up to the kids' toy sections.
It's like crazy. You pick up a Nerf gun or a real gun, bro? Which one do you want?
I was like, how did they place these right next to each other? Like, what kind of thought process is this? I don't know.
I remember in college, I was in part of a tutoring service, and one of the girls I would help a lot was a Texan girl, and like I was like, oh, she's really nice, like really like sweet girl. And then like one day she came in, she just started talking about like all these like shooting stories that she got, well, like shooting like wildlife, I guess, but it was just like it was so like foreign to me, and I was like, oh god, I don't know what to say.
I remember
it's not really me.
We like looked through like one of our like mutual cousins like yearbook. Like he's 13, so we were looking through his yearbook, and they have like the graduating class, like their pages and stuff like that. And there was a couple of pages of just kids who had like all the animals they'd shot. And fully just in like the camo, and I took photos of those. That was the stereotypes that I thought of Texas, and there was like several kids who were like they'd either be cheerleading or they'd be like shooting ducks. And That was
So was
I
your
showed
cousin
my friends
holding?
that.
What animal was he holding?
Oh, he wasn't in it. It was just like it was just some random like kids. But he did say he has shooting training because they go to a military school. So he's like, I was shooting paper today, and it was very weird, very very weird in that way because we don't talk about that at all. It's not even an option.
I guess you can go to like a shooting range if you really want to.
But no, they don't use
very
legit
rare.
bullets. Yeah.
But other than that, stereotypes. Everyone was really nice. Like I was talking to Rena on the way back, and I was like, I think the way, like for example, on TikTok, a lot of people like portray. I think there's a lot of beef between the US and the UK. Maybe I'm just seeing that on TikTok, but
we're still
like,
bitter.
Yeah, of course.
The revolution.
But like people were saying like, oh, they're so rude. And like, you know, we have family there, so we really didn't see that. But this time when we were coming back, we're like, wow, like everyone's really nice. Like, no, we didn't experience any like racism, even though we were driving through like the small towns in Texas as well. We were just expecting, I mean, we saw a few like political like stuff, but not like, no one was particularly like racist to us, which was kind of nice. Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad our country did a good job for you.
Yeah,
we were on our best behavior.
They did the bare minimum, and that's enough.
Yeah.
Is racism bad in Australia? I feel like I've heard it's like mixed or mixed.
We're very like, at least in Melbourne, because we're quite close to like it's very diverse, like extremely diverse. You get people from all different ethnicities, and I've never personally going to high school like throughout my life. I've never had a like racist experience. I'm sure there is racist Australians, but they're the minority. And if you are racist, you're kind of shunned upon because of how diverse you are and how multicultural everyone is. So like, it's not. I mean, at least in our generation, we don't stand for it. If you say weird things, then you will probably just get kicked out or told off. So.
I think the only thing that like caught me off guard because my cousins are Australian. Two of my cousins are Australian. They live in Sydney, and they said that like the brown people there are referred to as curries, which I always thought was like pretty like off-putting. But I don't know if that's like normalized or not, or that's sort of thing.
I think
it is normalized. Yeah. I think we call each other like brown people. Like we're just like brown people, but I guess it depends on the context of the situation. Like if someone of a different ethnicity is saying it to you, and like the way they say it really matters. Whereas, like, if it's just, like, all brown people were just chilling in a group.
Yeah. So we say, like curry parents. Like, I've never heard a non-brown person say it, but, like,
okay.
If we're talking about brown people, I don't know. I didn't realize that was an Australian thing. I thought that was a common thing. But
to be fair, I think, like, Sydney people are quite different to, like, the crowd in Sydney is quite different to Melbourne. You could ask your cousin about that, but, like, I think based off what we've heard and, like, seen as well, like, it's a very different sort of crowd. I'm not sure if maybe they experience it there, but yeah.
Yeah, I've not been to Melbourne. I've only been to Sydney, and I was also like 7 years old, so I couldn't really comment if there's any racism or not.
Look at this curry kid walking the streets of
Sydney.
Yeah.
I mean, next time you guys should come to Melbourne. I think.
I want to.
Yeah, it's like sporting capital, cafe central, nightlife. Yeah, so city. Much better.
I need to come for the Australian Open. That's my plan.
Yeah. If you come for that time, there's the cricket, the Open, and the footy all at once. Like it only happens in Melbourne, so.
True.
Putting it out there.
So, do you guys go see some of those matches when it's around that time?
Yeah. With Australian Open's pretty much like a yearly thing for us. We try to go at least one of the days.
That's hype.
And then footy, I think, is one thing that maybe we don't go to as often. We definitely watch it
once a year, but not that often. Yeah.
And then cricket, if it's like Australia, India sort of thing, we tend to go. But yeah. Or like the Big Bash, which is like the Australian teams like made up. Yeah.
We just had the World Cup as well recently, so all the teams were here. I went to one of the matches and it was washed out. It was Australia, England, and it was washed out. So, we call it like the summer of sport. So like from basically all of December, January, and February, there's some sport going on somewhere. So there's always something to do. Like, and then the Grand Prix comes here as well.
A
little bit later in the year, in March, I think, or April. So yeah.
And the first race is Australian, right? Is that right?
I'm not sure of the calendar.
I think it's like one of the first.
Probably, yeah. So they're all in like, it's really cool because they're all in like a 10-minute drive from each other, all these big events take place. So you can see them all back to back.
Damn, that is so nice.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Haran, you got something to get off your chest about the Australian Open?
No, not really. I mean, kind of. So I'm a Novak. I'm a Novak Djokovic fan, and
oh.
We'll just stop it there. Let's stop it there.
Wait, who do you guys
Okay,
support?
guys, we gotta go now. We're gonna end this podcast.
Who do you guys support in tennis? Just out of curiosity.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
okay, she's a Federer fan.
I'm a huge Nadal fan.
Let's
go.
Yeah. So
got
I
all
mean,
the- we
like,
got all the-
there's nothing
okay.
against Djokovic. Like, he's a really good player. You can't really take that away from him at all. I think it was interesting though. I think what you were gonna maybe finish what you were gonna say because.
Oh, I was just gonna ask what your thoughts on the whole him being kicked out of the country in 2020, last year's.
Oh yeah,
before last year's
was,
Australian Open.
Look, that was his own fault. I would just say that because we have very strict rules, and several people were kicked out before him. He came on an exemption. His team didn't put the papers in correctly. He's just lucky that he didn't get a 3-year ban because he broke immigration laws by coming. So if I don't blame him because I don't think it was his fault. It was his team's fault.
Yeah.
But it was too controversial, and we just had to if you don't do the right thing, you don't get let in. That's just it.
I think it was more of the manner he was kicked out. I had more problem with, but everything you said is true.
Yeah.
I think
the whole he was stuck in a detention, that was not true. That was all media things. He was kept in a hotel room. Everywhere in Melbourne's nice. They just exasperated it because he was the number one in the world, which is fair enough. It wasn't correct really, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think COVID
say.
has been bad for his whole reputation. I think before that, his reputation was only stuff that happened on the court, and then ever since then, a lot of shit's been happening off the court that's kind of ruined his reputation. But still my GOAT.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Separate the player from the thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
Personality. So
we were saying, me and Rena talk about this all the time as well, the difference in how Australia handled COVID versus obviously the States and a few other countries. The rules were obviously way stricter. We had lockdowns here for there was one, I think it was 5. No, 6, I think it was 6 months.
It was
or something.
6 months
at
and
a
4 months the next year. Yeah. So it was 10 months.
It was quite a big lockdown. I don't know. People have different opinions on it, but yeah, it was quite different the way they handled it. Yeah. So I guess. For me personally, with the whole Djokovic situation, it's kind of if I go to a country, if I go to Dubai or United Arab, wherever, and their rules are a certain way to dress a certain way or act a certain way, I think you just kind of do it, even if you don't agree with it.
Yeah.
So I guess it was interesting because I think his personality, small things in his personality did come out, which was
I'm more surprised that him and his team thought they could just get in knowing all the rules, and then they got in and I was like, what? and then 3 days later they got kicked out. What just happened? It was weird.
It was all this it just had a lot of fake questions around it. You should never just be fake. If you want to be legit, if you're going to be a certain way, own it and then deal with the consequences. And he has since then. I respect that. With the US Open last year, he's been I can't play it, I'll come next year.
I don't think he's gonna come. So the rules haven't changed yet. Indian Wells is coming up. He probably won't be able to participate, but
so it's honestly just owns it and doesn't try to skip around just to use his big name, because nothing we hate more than someone being I'm this person, you should do this for me.
You should let me in,
because it's no, you're not Australian, you follow our rules, you're coming to our country, you follow our rules. It's not that hard really. So
speaking of lockdown though, how did you guys feel about the strict policies that your country implemented though? Were you guys just okay to comply with it, or after a time you're just this is getting too long?
Well, I guess firstly, it wasn't the whole country. It was pretty much every state had implemented their own sort of lockdown. Yep. So, places like Queensland and Western Australia, there's those other states. They didn't really have much of a lockdown. South Australia and stuff. It was pretty much Melbourne and Victoria and New South Wales, which is Melbourne and Sydney's states. We probably had the harshest lockdown there. I could definitely say that.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Green?
I think for me, it was because I did my final year of high school in lockdown, so that was a bit weird. But in a way, it was kind of we knew what we were doing was to help other people. And after our first 6 to 8 month lockdown, we kept coming out and going back in. So you could see the results though. before we had vaccines, like we had no cases in the entire country for a while because of these lockdowns. So it actually worked.
Yeah.
Until our government, I don't know if you guys know this much about it, but like our government screwed up the vaccine rollout basically. And he didn't order enough vaccines early enough. And that's why we had to go into another lockdown. So it was like, we kind of knew the end was near. And also, it was more about just like defending each other. And then we kind of just got used to it. Like, we're really lucky. We live in a very scenic area. We have a park, like a lake, about like 5 minutes from our house. So if we ever got like stir crazy, because at one point we had like a 5 kilometer radius, so you couldn't go more than 5 kilometers from your house.
Wow.
So we just go to the lake, or we go for a drive and then come back.
Nice.
But
like in saying that, like, like I think like we could definitely like acknowledge like we did have like a more privileged sort of lockdown as well, because like where we live, like we all had our own rooms, but I can definitely see like people struggling because, you know, there's like 10 people to a house, or, you know, mental health's pretty bad. And like, I think we all went through like a little bit of a stage where we were like depressed and, you know, anxious about the situation. But I could say like, I think Australians are very laid back, like when it comes to a lot of this. And a lot of the jobs could still go ahead. Like, you know, if you're a tradie, so like if you work in the trades, we call them tradies. They were still working most of the time, like medical clinics, most of that was still going on. So it was like you agree to disagree sort of situation. Like there's nothing we could do about it, but we kind of just did it. There was definitely protesters though. After one stage, there was definitely like a little bit of protesting happening. Yeah,
there's a lot of pushback in this country as well. I'm sure you guys would imagine, though.
Yeah.
Americans are so stupid, man.
They said they kind of like watching our news because they think it's kind of funny.
The elections was hilarious.
Oh, the elections,
because the elections are so boring. Like we usually know who's going to win, and even if someone else wins, it doesn't change much because it's like the British system. It's a class system as opposed to like a value system. So it doesn't really matter who's elected. Like we know the major rules aren't going to change.
And we're a pretty, like, leftist sort of country anyway, like, when it comes to, like, I mean, in general. So, like, we don't really have, like, right-wing as much. It's just, like, a little bit maybe, like, we're still in the left spectrum.
Left-leaning and then,
like,
It's crazy to see, like, that every 4 years your country can change. That's very unsettling to me because I don't know how to deal with that uncertainty every 2 or 4 years because you have the midterms as well, right? So it's just, that's a lot to comprehend when it's so like steady here, I guess. Mostly steady at least.
Also, like voting here is compulsory, so everyone has to vote. So it's not like people might just take like the ballot paper and they'll just like fill some random person in, but most of the time it's like 2 parties, one of them gets elected, and it's pretty straightforward. So not as interesting as your news like CNN and Fox News, I guess. So
it was great. It's like a sideshow.
Do you guys have like any other like misconceptions about like Australians? We'd love to like
debunk.
Debunk them. Let's knock out the low-hanging fruit. I mean, what's up with the snakes and the kangaroos and stuff?
Okay. 2 separate things. Snakes. Look, if our grass gets too high, we can't leave it too high because we're scared snakes will come. That's one thing.
Okay. Yeah.
We've never had a snake in our house. We have a lot of lizards in our house, outside our house, but never a snake. But kangaroos, so like I said, in that lake, kangaroos live in that lake. So 5 minutes from our house, there are kangaroos, and sometimes if you're lucky, you'll see them hopping down our street.
Yeah.
But that's a rarity. Like we are just on the edge of like the weirdest part of town where it's like city and country together. Like it's not common. Most people don't see snakes in their house. Spiders maybe, but like rarely. It's not that bad. Like I've never seen a dangerous spider or a dangerous snake anywhere that I couldn't handle it. Like it's not that bad. It's just scaring people away.
I think our wildlife in general maybe is just like scary. People look at it's so different to maybe like other countries. That's why people get like a bit stressed out. But a lot of that actually is like in the outback, which is like the huge like center portion of Australia. If you're living in the like the cities and stuff, it's really rare. I haven't seen a snake except when I've gone like camping or something. So yeah.
How often do you guys like explore that centerland of like mainland of Australia? Do you guys like ever go and like go out there that often or not really?
No.
We haven't been.
Yeah, we should go. Because 90% or like 80% of Australia is desert. So we should go. It's very pretty and they do trips quite often. Like our school did a trip, like unis do trips to the middle. Yeah. But it's quite hot and hard to plan. So, because we're not really camping people. So if we want to do that, we'd have to like figure it out. We have to plan around it. But we should do it. We should do it more.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm trying to think what else. When I was in, so I went to Spain last year, and I met this Australian girl at a restaurant, and she was telling me that one thing that she thought was really cool was that like they use red Solo cups here, and I guess like you guys don't have that. And she was like, "Oh, like red Solo cups are so cool. Like that's all I see in the movies."
Yeah.
Did you guys see that in America? Did you guys play beer pong?
I don't think we saw it in America, but like when people play beer pong here, that's the only reason they get those cups. Like, like there's like kits you can buy that come with those cups just for beer pong. Like no one just drinks out of them. Casually.
Yeah, right.
Like that's with a lot of American food and stuff like that. Though I would say because we don't have a lot of fast food here. We don't have like Chick-fil-A. We don't have stuff like that. So anything we saw, we're like, oh, this was in this movie. This is so cool. And yeah, that's the main thing I'd say.
When they first came to like my neighborhood, they were Reno was like this is what I pictured suburban America to look like just all the houses and everything.
Fair, yeah,
right. It was like all the houses looked the same, and like it was so impressive. It looked like straight out of a movie set. I was shocked. Every house looks different here. Like, I mean, unless you go to newer places, every house has like very different and like weird red bricky like stuff. So it was like shocking. I thought it was like a movie set. It was very cool.
To us, it looks like shit. It's just so funny. It's just so funny that like I don't know, it's so like interesting for them, but like obviously it's extremely normal for us. I don't know.
Yeah. Because like in other parts of the country, there's definitely areas where like there are unique like structures and like unique houses and not everything looks the same. But because this area has been developed a lot more recently, like I think what they did was most cost effective and just built all the houses in the same like plan.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But then you also guys have like, I don't know if your neighborhoods had it, but in Texas they had like a neighborhood pool like that everyone could go swim at, or they'd have like a neighborhood like a committee or something like that. Yeah. And that is so weird because no one talks to each other here. I mean, we talk about like next door neighbors.
Yeah.
Like we'll wave.
Like, we'll wave when we walk past them. We know what they do for a living, but like it's not a community-based thing really. Right. Even if the people who live in similar areas, it's very like individual. You go for the house, you go for the place. It's not the community, like, and we don't live like walking distance from any of our friends or anything like that. So that's also pretty crazy that people can live like and just walk down to someone's house and be like, "You want to come over?" It's very weird.
Tarun and Haran, are your families close to your neighbors?
We actually hate them.
Oh.
Yeah. The dude that lives next to us, he like flexes on us. Like he's like, "Oh, I have like 6 cars and all this." And I'm like, "I don't care. I actually don't. Why are you telling me?" I was like, "I don't even know you. Like talk to my parents if anything."
You should ask if you can buy one of the cars from him, bro. Maybe it's something you can do.
No, I'm good, man. I don't want his cars.
No, we were somewhat close in our old neighborhood, but we moved here like 13 years ago, and there's a lot of like pretentious white people near us that we just don't really like talk to. Recently, like 2 Indian families moved in, like so down the road. So we've talked to them a little bit, but for the most part, not that friendly, I would say. Yeah, I think usually it's easy when like the kids are also the same age, but I'm also significantly older than everyone on the street. I think in terms of like the kids. So
that's never stopped you before.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh no.
It's the sound of the cops. Whoop, whoop.
Going back to the stereotypes, the only other thing I know is about a shoey. So like how common is it to do shoeys when you go out?
We've never done one. Right? Yeah. I've seen people do it in clubs and stuff.
Okay.
I think it's a very like Bogan thing.
Yeah. So like our version of redneck Bogan.
Right.
Yeah. People, if you go like a little bit out, like maybe towards like the countryside, I feel like
I don't
it's
think they're
pretty
doing
common.
shoeies though. No, I don't think
Like
they're
not
doing,
every
I don't
day.
think, they don't have bars. How are they doing shoeies if they don't have
They
bars?
wake
They
up,
have
wake up.
pubs.
It's a good time for a show.
Oh yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
it's like when you're like in a group of young males who think that, because we have a lot of weird like drinking habits. Like there's like, I don't know if you guys know, have these things called wine bags.
Yeah.
But, like goons, we call them goons, and then one of the games people do is they tie it to like a clothing drying thingy, and they like drink from that. Like I don't know, there's a lot of weird drinking culture games that come into play. So I feel like the shoey is like one of the less weird aspects of that.
Well, one thing I found interesting was like apparently when a lot of like the celebrities come here to do concerts, sometimes they get like pressured into doing a shoey.
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird, but apparently they've been like they're told when they come to Australia to bring like a new pair of like sneakers or something like that, so you don't have to drink out of like a dirty shoe.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's just for the culture.
Yeah.
Rena, you can add it to the bar menu.
Yeah, honestly, I've never
prepare
seen
you a
anyone do it. The watermelon man, maybe I'll get him to do a shoey next time. I'll call
I didn't
him
even know
up.
the thing until I watched like Dan Ricardo win a race, and then he did it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah,
So
he does it
disgusting.
a lot. I feel like he gets a misconception. Dan Ricardo's an interesting dude. Like he's not. He's a very different type of person. I'd say.
With his
from
driving
what
shoes, bro?
Yeah, it's actually disgusting.
So bad.
That is why you already know it's sweaty.
And then like, he'll give it to like the team director too to drink it. Like you probably don't want that shit.
Yeah,
oh gosh,
that's not it. I don't know.
no.
Yeah, I think Australians have a lot of like famous celebrities that like in Hollywood now, like Hemsworth, Margot Robbie. It's actually kind of wild. Kidman,
So too.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're pretty proud of them, to be fair.
Yeah. if there's someone there, we know about them, and we're like fully behind them. Whoever, even in the music industry as well. If there's like an Australian singer, we're like, oh, she's Australian. Like always claim them personally.
Yes.
True.
Yeah. Like most of them tend to be a bit like non-controversial, so pretty happy about that. But as soon as they're like controversial, we're kind of like
Distance.
like
America changed them.
It's so true. The ones who don't still live here, I'm always like a bit more suspicious of. Like for example, like Kidman and Keith Urban, they still have like a house here. Hugh Jackman still has a house here. The Hemsworths, Troye Sivan lives really close to us. Like all that kind of stuff. But if they like move there full time, like kind of like the Kid Laroi right now, like
Oh yeah, his accent's like going. Like
it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone now. Yeah,
It's pretty much gone.
He's sick though because he's like
that was crazy. Within like
Australian,
3 years. Like
yeah. But then he lives there full time, and like Troye Sivan moved back here, and that's why I still trust him. Whereas with the rest of them, I'm like,
not one of us.
yeah, no, they're not one of us anymore. He's definitely not one of us anymore.
Yeah.
He like cancelled. I don't know if you guys know this, but he came to Australia. And he cancelled his show like 2 hours in. Like people were standing waiting for him. And this was like his hometown.
Oh my god.
So if you're going to do that to your hometown.
Yeah, that's yikes.
That's tough.
Banish him.
American is. Yeah.
Don't let him in.
Stop him from getting in the country again.
Actually. But I feel like a lot of people during COVID came over here. Like Americans, like Zac Efron. Like he ended up dating like one of the girls from Australia, like lived here for a bit.
So you probably like claim them, like we don't know this girl, but we claim it. She's like she's Australian. She's Australian. Yes.
What are popular like destinations around Australia that you guys go to?
One I guess that's really close by. I recently went was Bali. Australians love Bali. Like if you go there, I think 80% of the population, not including like the locals, is Australians.
Oh my god!
So
wow.
yeah. It's a cheap destination, like affordable, like food and like the nightlife is pretty good. So I think and you can drink like for cheap. So it's like the perfect Australian destination, I think. Yeah.
All their dreams. That and in Australia is probably just like Gold Coast, which is in Queensland, so it's in the northeast of Australia. That's like the main holiday destination in Australia because it has really nice beaches and it's like very relaxed, and that's the big one. If you want to go on holiday, you usually just go there with theme parks and stuff like that. So
it's very much like LA, I guess. Like the weather is like really hot most of the time, and like Rena said, theme parks and all of that. So
surfing.
Yeah.
Great Barrier Reef is really close to there as well. So
Ooh, right.
Yeah.
Do you ever like venture to New Zealand or anything, or not really?
We did go. It was a shorter trip. I think we only were there for like 4 or 5 days, but probably like the prettiest country I've seen so far. Like the scenery is just like breathtaking. I don't think anything compared to it yet. So
and yeah, it was really good for like adventurous stuff. Like we went to Queenstown, which was they had bungee jumping, skydiving, tree surfing, all this kind of stuff. And it was really close to us, obviously. So it was, definitely. New Zealand was gorgeous. Underrated country for sure.
Yeah, I want to go visit there. I have a niece, or I guess cousin and a niece that lives there, so I want to go there as well at some point.
Hobbiton is there, right? Is that where it is?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
That's also a really big deal there. They filmed all the Hobbits there, so yeah.
Yeah, because we had 2 of our other cousins who came over. Like, this was a long time ago, though. They did, like, an Australia-New Zealand trip and then ended up going to see, like, the Hobbit, like, set and all of that. So,
the Shires.
Yes.
Harsha, when are you going to Australia, man?
Let me go look at tickets right now. But now it's time for an ad. So yeah, I just booked my ticket, but before I do that, before I go on the trip, I gotta figure out how to talk there. So Tarun, I heard you got a list of Aussie slang.
Yeah, and this definitely seems like a American list. So let me know if this is just terrible. The first one on the list, because it's alphabetical, says Akadaka. Have you guys heard that?
Yeah.
It says how Aussies refer to Australian band AC/DC.
Oh,
that's pretty self-explanatory. I feel
like. Wait, is that actually like how they wanted them to be pronounced too? Like,
we just call them Akadaka. Like that's just what they do. I don't know.
That's who they are.
Here we call it Nike. There they call it Nike. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel like that's just
I think it's like worldwide they do that.
Like, I mean, we call it Nike.
We call it Nike.
Oh, really?
I haven't heard of anyone say Nike.
British people say Nike.
Oh yeah, my bad.
I think it's we get kind of grouped in with the British sometimes when it comes to certain phrases. But
how do you feel about the British? Are you guys fans of the British? Or?
I love the British.
You love the British?
I do, yeah.
I'm a British stan, yes.
Wow.
I love everything British. So that's just because, like, I think I talked to Harsha about it, like, the Sidemen, like, the YouTubers.
Yeah.
I'm, like,
those are my boys.
very big fans of them, so I feel British, like, because of them.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, Haran met KSI.
Twice. Twice. So basically, so stupid. So this is like back in like 2014. KSI like put on Twitter like I'm gonna be on Omegle like on this. Omegle. I didn't actually meet him. Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. I met him online. He's like I'm gonna be on Omegle. Like use this like code or like password or whatever. So I did that, funny. And I was on there for like 25 minutes. I was about to give up, and then like the next person like. Basically, JJ put like a photo of himself like super close to the camera, and then I was like, "Oh, it's a fake person." I was gonna click out, and then as I was about to do it, he pulled it out, and then he just seemed smiling, and I started like screaming. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was literally sitting in this bed right behind me. I was just freaking out, and then
that's sick.
And then he was like, "Hey man, nice to meet you." We just like talked like I said nothing for just like 1 minute, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, look, I'm filming a video. Like, is there anything funny or something you want to do for the video?" And I was like, "Nah, man, I just wanted to see you." I was just like a shy kid. I didn't know what to say.
Valid.
And then he was like, "All right, I'll see you. Safe." And then he just left. And then I told all my friends, and they're like, "Oh, what the hell? I don't believe you." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so stupid. I didn't take a photo." So then I got back on Omegle and waited another 20 minutes, and then he came back on, and he's like, "Why are you still here?" And I was like, "I need a photo." So then there's a photo of me and him. Like,
met him twice.
Yeah, I met him twice. So that's my highlight. But yeah, I've been a fan of Simon since like 2014 when it started.
That's really cool. They were just here. Well, he was just here, but he didn't come to Melbourne.
Yeah.
So it was very sad.
Haran and I went and played basketball outside yesterday, and it was probably about like 5:30, and we were walking down to like go to the court, and this group of like 8-9-year-old kids like walked up to us like, "Hey, you want to buy some Prime?" And like,
really?
Yeah,
Dad, bro.
Like,
I was like, you can buy this at Walmart for like $1. It's not like it's not out of stock here.
Shit tons here.
Yeah.
They think it's Britain, bro. Kids
we don't sell it here.
there.
Yeah, so I bought it when I was there, and I brought it back for a couple of my friends because we don't sell it here. And
you guys don't sell it there?
They were gassed. They were so excited. But I was so excited.
Well, what did you think about it?
I actually liked it. I thought it was better than Gatorade.
Really?
The blue one was really. It was like coconutty. I was like, oh, yeah, I liked it. It wasn't probably not worth.
Yeah.
Like but it was good.
I thought it was like extremely sweet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even though there's
I
like
like-
no added
yeah.
sugar or whatever, I don't know. Something seems a little bit sus. I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows at this point?
Yeah, I know in England, like they're like banning it at schools because all the kids be selling it all the time.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
That's gonna happen here. That's gonna happen here as soon as it comes. I can tell. So
Yeah.
getting ahead of the game.
Going back to the slang,
Yes.
I'm just gonna say some, and if you guys like know what it is, like if it's a valid like slang term that people use, like just nod your head, and then I'll have these boys like try to guess what it is, and then you guys can tell them the real answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
fun.
Oh, God. You're gonna butcher the pronunciation. Though.
Yeah, I don't even know
Yeah,
what
no,
the fuck you're gonna be saying.
well, yeah. If I mess it up, you guys can say it for real.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Cobber, Cobber.
Cobber.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, that's
I've
fine.
heard of it. I just don't know what it is.
What is it?
Dag, DAG.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Dag?
Dag.
Oh, yeah, like, I guess like someone who's
You
like... a
no,
bit-
don't. You're not meant to explain
sorry. My bad.
What are we thinking?
Not
bro?
like not me thinking you guys are quizzing me. I'm like, guys, I don't know. Sorry.
I've
I
heard
remember
it
we used to say
before.
dag in
Dag,
high
like-
school. Like,
Yeah.
what's up, my dag?
Yeah, like,
we said that, but I don't think that's
bro,
what it meant.
like,
Is that what it
Jiggy
means?
dag?
It's like a type of person. We'll say that. It's like
Yeah.
a type of
Yeah.
like how you characterize someone.
Oh,
Yep.
No idea.
oh
would
so
say- I would
dag is
say
short for
harsh is a
dagger.
dag.
So it's a killer. It's a killer. Oh, harsh is
I'm a dag.
Harsh is a dag.
Oh, it's like a loser? A loser?
So sad.
Is it a loser?
no.
No. All right, what is it? What kind of person?
I think it's like unfashionable, right? Like
Oh my
Like
god.
a
shit.
I thought it was like a nerd. Or like,
Wait, what did it say
for
you?
like a
Wait,
nerd,
True, what
like
did
a
it say for
nerdy
you?
sort of
Yeah,
geeky
no,
vibe.
it's what Sheena's saying. Like here it says,
Yeah, like
it's a
a
bit of a
geeky-
nerd or like a geek. Yeah.
Oh.
Like
I
okay.
thought it was someone zero drip. Okay, similar.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
we kind of...
Oh, so
they're
both
kind of
Harsha.
mutually
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense.
When you put it like
checks
that, yeah.
yeah, I don't think.
I'm gonna add that to my vocabulary. I like that.
Let me see
Dag?
if I can find
Dag.
any.
You're a dag.
Yeah, that
Oh,
might be.
yeah, what about...
Yeah.
Do you guys know what a bottle-o is?
A what? Sorry.
Bottle
A bottle-o? Like,
Bottle-o.
like
Bottle-o.
wood-
A bottle-o.
Yeah, bottle-o. Bottle-o.
I just saw this on the list, so I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys go ahead.
Orange juice.
I will say no. I will say we have something similar here.
You have
Oh,
What this
it.
thing
okay.
is, we have here.
Yeah, you have it
Oh.
there. It's not
Yeah.
called that.
Yeah. I don't know if that
I'm
helps
so
you at all.
lost.
Actually,
No,
Yeah.
actually, I'm more confused
I mean,
now.
we have a lot of
I'm
things
lucky.
here.
I like Harsha's guess. Orange juice. Yeah. I'll go with
Orange
that.
juice?
Yeah.
No, it's like a place. It's like a place.
Oh, like a water fountain?
Oh.
What did you say, Christian?
Like a water fountain?
No.
No?
No, we call those bubblers.
Oh, bubblers. Oh, that's kind of nice.
I like
like
that.
that.
I
I
want
like
to
that,
start
yeah.
saying that.
Bro, we say that shit in Massachusetts. We always get fucking slapped on for that shit.
It's the British. It's the British.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a bottle shop. So, like, somewhere you can go buy, like, alcohol.
Oh.
Like, it's like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we'll
so-
just be like, oh, we're going to the bottle. Like, yeah.
Yeah, here we call
I mean-
it ABC, like the ABC store. Is
Well,
what it's
that's
called.
just Virginia.
That's what it's
It's
called.
only Virginia.
That's just Virginia, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
oh,
Virginia.
oh, okay.
Like,
okay, guys.
other places call it package store, liquor store.
Yeah.
You're not going to
Liquor
find
store,
an ABC in New York, bro.
Can you imagine? Okay, I found. Okay, do you guys? Okay, this is a funny one. I don't know if you've seen it on the list already, but like budgie smugglers. Just guess what that is.
Budgie?
Budgie smugglers.
Like onion budgie?
It's like the bird, like a bird, like a budgie.
Oh my god.
I definitely saw this on the list, but I didn't think it was real.
Hey, you watched Laser
Sounds
Beam,
like-
Christian? Come on now.
Yeah, bro, that was like
He's
8
probably
years ago.
mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's poor from you, Christian.
He's the only reason I know
He
what a bogan is because they kept on calling him a bogan.
Hmm.
Or he calls
Yeah,
himself
he-
a
Oh,
bogan
really?
too.
He is a bogan. I'll tell you. Okay, this is gonna give it away, but it's like an article of clothing.
Like
I
a,
would not have thought.
Oh, what a great hint.
shut up, Dag.
Shut up, Dad.
It's true. I mean, I think it's obvious. That's just because it's common.
Partially man. I think
like a backpack or something.
Something you would wear, like
It's something you would wear.
like
Like a hoodie.
like a fanny pack.
Okay, it's a small piece of clothing. Maybe
Yeah, very small.
Like shorts. I'm so
Smaller.
confused.
Underwear.
even smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's speedos. It's speedos basically. Because it looks like you're smuggling a budgie anyway.
I see.
That's actually that's very creative. I like that.
That's class. That's
It's
class.
so much better than here, man. I didn't even know what slang to tell.
We're
them,
not
man.
creative people,
Bro,
man.
we're just crude, bro.
We just steal from other places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Let's
else?
popularize all this stuff, guys. Here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
dude,
should.
Yeah.
We got 4 major cities in the U.S. We could slowly.
Yeah, we're gonna
one
start.
I actually want to know if you guys would get this. Like, what about Macca's?
Yeah, it's McDonald's.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you
Is
know
that because of laser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's close to Mackey's though, right? So that sounds like I feel that's how like. Wait, you said Mackey's or Mackers?
It's Macca's.
Macca's.
Macca's. So it's
Macca's,
Maccas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in England they call them Mackey's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
just like Akadaka, Haran.
I'm gonna start saying that too. I like
Yeah?
it. Oh, I was gonna say I like ACDC, but I'm gonna say I like Akadaka.
Does anyone actually listen to AC/DC there? Like,
I do. I mean, I like some of their music.
So no.
I feel like
so
they're like Thunderstruck is played almost like at every arena you go to. I feel like at the beginning, it's like a very hype song.
Yeah.
I say America's very casual fan of Akadaka.
It depends. It depends. Like I feel like in like the rural
There's a
areas,
hardcore rock fan too.
Yeah. It depends on like where you are.
an Esky, I feel like that's a very common one.
It's like Eskimo. They got Eskimos there.
Yeah, close. No, it's like that concept, like that weather tone.
Oh,
Dude, I actually have no idea where
Like-
to
like-
You got
start.
something wrong?
Like a hoodie? I don't fucking know.
No, okay.
like canoe. I don't even know.
Canoe.
What
It's
is
like
it?
it's like where you put, I don't know what you guys call it, but like where you put like the little cold kind of boxes that you put like beers and stuff in.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
freezer?
Oh,
No,
cool.
Yeah,
freezer.
you carry it around.
Cool.
A cooler,
Yeah.
yeah, and you like carry
Yeah.
it with you. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're called Eskies. Yeah.
That is better than a cooler. It's cooler than a cooler.
Everything's better, man. Everything's it's cooler than cooler.
It's ice cold. Yes.
Okay, what about like a sickie?
Yeah, that's
like
pretty self-explanatory.
Cigarette?
I think I just saw
Like
that on the list.
I'll spell it because I feel like maybe the accent's not like SICKIE. Sickie.
Oh, like a psycho person? I don't know.
It's a valid guess.
sick in the mind.
Someone who's unvaccinated.
Oh,
Oh no.
I don't even have
Novak.
a name for that.
Novak's
Yeah,
such a
they don't have it.
Novak is a sickie.
Novax.
He's a sicky dag.
Novak. No.
He's a sicky guy. Hey, he has good fashion, bro.
Does he? He was the same thing.
Yeah, it's Lacoste. It's just a
It's just
walking Lacoste ad.
Lacoste.
Walking Lacoste
Yeah.
ad.
I saw it on the list. Should I just say it, or should I give you guys
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say it.
like a sick day off work? Like you're gonna call in a sickie.
Pull a sickie.
Yeah, we're gonna say we're pulling a sickie. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Basically, anything you add a Y to, it's Australian.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Like chewing gums become chewies. Now I'm out of things to think about.
Have you two ever started a slang word in Melbourne or no? Are you guys pioneers like that?
Started.
I wish I could say I was. No.
I mean, have we started?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just wondering.
Yeah, what the fuck? You ever
No,
made a
we
word before? Yeah, what kind of fucking
I've
word is
never
that?
made up words before. I just can't think of anything on top of my head.
Doused.
That's not a word.
That's not a word, bro.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, for a while, I don't know, this wasn't us, but everyone started calling each other like dal, like it's like a dal, like that's like a really like old boomer way of talking, but then it became like slang, and like everyone would just call each other dal, which means like darling, but like
Yeah.
Right.
that, I think like our generation started that, and that was very weird. You're calling everyone darling. It was very odd, but
Ron, I wouldn't mind if you called me darling. Every once in a while.
Like, how about Darl? After the full thing, or
It doesn't sound the same when you say it. You say
I know, I don't have an accent, man.
Darl.
like Carl.
Darla.
It's just like Drew's story about him saying cheers. It doesn't sound the same when an American person said it versus a British person.
Yeah.
We just ruin everything, man.
Yeah.
We need accents.
For real.
You need softer R's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some British people on my team, and every time I do something, the guy just responds cheers. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I just react with the beer emoji every time.
No. British people are like, thanks.
Yeah.
Great.
He's probably so confused. He's like, this guy want a drink?
This guy's a fucking alcoholic.
He's like, bro, it's 4. It's like 7 in the morning. What do you want?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, whenever I talk to my British family, they literally just be like, they literally cut me off mid-sentence. They're like, oh, can I give you some water? I'm not even talking about water. I'm like, I'm just asking anything. They just make fun of the way I speak all the time. It's so infuriating.
Water, yeah.
Water.
Yeah. Oh wait, speaking of, there's like another one. We actually convinced all of our cousins over there to say it, maybe except Harsh and Varun, but a slab. Like, it's like a slab, but with a B on the end. So slab.
Like a slab of concrete, but not.
Damn, bro, we're so
What you
uncultured.
thinking?
Holy shit.
What you thinking, you guys?
It's hard. For us, it's like so obvious. It's just really hard.
Okay, it's something related to what, like,
Drinking.
yeah, Tarun was saying, like,
Okay.
with the emoji situation.
A beer,
But like,
a can of beer,
A bucket.
A keg. A beer keg.
a
no,
pint.
it's like,
Fuck.
It's really close, but
it's like multiple cans of beer. You know how they come in a 6-pack?
Yeah.
And they look kind of like a slab.
yeah.
Right.
Like a case.
So when
We
you're
call it a
getting
case.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay, sure. You say,
I like
oh,
slab.
you're getting a slab.
Yeah. Like, one beer is like a stubby, and then, like
Several beers.
like
a slab.
several beers is like a slab. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
We're
Dude,
drinking.
if I go to
beer
Australia, I'll be
tonight,
so
I'll-
fucking lost, like, immediately.
To be fair, like, I think we don't use this, like, it's not like everyday conversation.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if we're going out with friends, we're not like, oh, let's grab a slab. Like, it's just like, it'll come up here and there. So
Right.
it's kind of like things
Yeah.
to just throw into conversation. We don't even realize we do it sometimes. But
Yeah.
Fair.
Like, there was just a couple of things when we were talking to our cousins that they didn't understand. Like, we say, like, oh, I reckon, like, I think. That's
Yeah.
the equivalent of I think.
yeah.
And they had no idea what that meant. And I kept saying it, and they were very confused. They were like, what are you reckoning? Like, why are you reckoning?
What is this reckoning that you're
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't
Or
know.
we'll say like, yeah, nah. Like,
Yeah, that's very common.
Yeah.
like
I think we do that here.
It's just,
Yeah.
oh, do you guys
Yeah,
do
nah,
that there as
yeah.
well?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah. No. We do. Definitely do it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, no, yeah. Unconsciously, definitely.
Too funny.
The stubby slab thing is like Tarun's friend with the limes and the lemon.
That just no. He's just stupid.
that was just dumb.
Let me give you the abridged version of the story. A few years ago, I was like interning at this office, and there was a guy that like on our team, and we're like on our lunch break or something, and we're just talking about like soda and stuff, right? And he's like, you know, like, why is Sprite, like, Sprite is like lemon lime soda, right? So he was like, he's like, why is it like lemon lime? Like, is there really like a difference? There's like no difference, you know what I mean? And I was like, you know, I mean, that is fair. Like, I feel like they're pretty similar. Like, if they put just lemon or just lime, I don't know if I really would notice, right? And he's like, no, but there really is no difference. And I was like, I mean, what? I mean, like, what, they're different, like, things, you know what I mean? Like, they're different things. And he's like, no, I mean, like, what do you mean? He's like so funny. He's like, one lime is 3 lemons. Like, he thought it was like, you know, like a dozen eggs. Like, he thought it was like a lime is like a set of lemons.
Oh, no.
And this dude's like, this dude is smart. Like, he works at like some startup in San Francisco and all these things. And I'm just like, there's no way that you have come this far in life not knowing that a lime is like a green one and like a lemon is a yellow one at the very least, even if you thought they were the same.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
A
We
lime is
never let
three
him
lemons.
live that down.
Like a plural form of it. It's like a lemon,
Yeah.
one lemon, 3 limes.
yeah.
Yeah.
The conversion rate, the conversion.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I've never heard of anyone say that.
I don't think anyone's ever said that.
No. He is the only one. Trust me.
Where did he learn that? That's actually, we gotta know where the originated from. Like, where
I
did
know,
this
I'm
start?
worried.
It could have been like a prank. You know what I mean? Like his older brother or like something like that. You know, just like
And
fucked
only
with him
now,
early
just now
on.
we found out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just like stuck in his brain.
Right.
That's tough. That is tough.
Yes, yeah. Well, I did actually have a question for you guys. Like, on TikTok, we'll see like random guys in like America like walk around and question people about things. A lot of the time, like, I'm not saying this to sound rude, but like they just don't know geography. Like, is that not like a common? Like, they'll be like, oh, like, what's the, like, where is the Great Wall of China? And this girl was like, Japan. And I was like,
yeah.
It's in the name. Like,
yeah. I know, like, Jimmy Kimmel films that, like he did that on YouTube for a long time. I'm pretty sure, like, he just cherry picks, like, the stupid people. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking if, like, if you ask, like, 50 people walking around LA, like, probably like 45 people would know exactly what he's talking about. But there's also, I mean, also I feel like those ones are maybe more paid actors on TikTok.
I think I think you're giving them too much credit. I think there's like a lot of like the bar of like intelligence in America is like pretty fucking low.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the ones are so stupid. They're like, name 3 presidents and they're struggling.
Yeah.
See, like, that's the thing. Like, sure, American stuff, but like, would you think that everyone you know would be able to name 5 countries in Africa?
Yeah, things like that. Like, I think you would stump some people.
Because I feel like you guys are quite good at American geography, but then beyond that, it's like...
I think it's more of a problem with, like, the educational system in America.
Yeah.
Which makes it worse when they don't know American stuff, because we spend so much time just learning about our fucking country, and they still don't know about it. But yeah, I think when it comes to, like, world knowledge, it's like the average person here is pretty poor at that.
I feel like once you get out of high school, like, you don't need to use it that much anymore. So most people either forget or just like it doesn't matter to them anymore. Because I feel like there's a large like subsection of America that just like has no interest in like international travel or anything like that. So they don't care about it anymore. They're just stuck in their little rural town.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense if you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of people that I knew in college that had like never been on a plane, like at all. Like,
wow.
Some of them like literally just grew up in the town that we went to college at, and they stayed there. And I'm assuming they continue to stay there. You know, I mean, yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and our town was so small, and it's not like a super nice metropolis place to live, you know.
Yeah, not like your uni, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
like in a downtown area. Like, did you ever consider like moving downtown, like closer to uni, or did you just always want to stay at home, just like, to save money and stuff?
Like, yes.
Oh. Yeah. Like,
yes, but like we don't have the like. It's like it is expensive. Like the housing like situation, renting situation right now. Like because like I said, like my friends work full-time jobs, but they're still at home because either like someone like it's very common here to like start saving up for a house at a certain point. So people would like once they save up for a house and they tend to move out, or if they move out, it's for other reasons as well. You know. I think the only reason we haven't actually done any like moving out is because. Like a house is like we each have our own room. We don't like we're in and out quite often, so it's like you really only see each other like
I think only like the only people I know that have moved out to be closer to uni who live in Melbourne are like the kids who went to private schools and they want the whole American college experience. That's what they say, and then they go and they live. We have these things called colleges on campus, so like you can pay to like board in a college where you get free food and stuff, but it's very 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 expensive. So only like the extremely wealthy kids will like do that just because they want the experience. But end of the day, like it's a transit, but I get to come home. So it's like, I'd rather do that than be living an hour. Like it's only like a 45-minute drive if I wanted to drive. So it's not crazy. And we went to school like 45 minutes from my house, like high school. So it's normal.
Oh, wow.
It's not,
that is far.
It's not, it's not crazy to travel much.
I think like it's it's probably like more common than not. If someone says, oh, I'm going to like uni in the city, like my uni's in the city as well now. It was in the suburbs before, so it was about 20 minutes. But it's not even like we don't even blink an eye. We're like, yep, an hour there, like an hour and a half there, hour back. Like the first college, or like you guys say college, like the first college I went to was like a 2-hour like commute up and back. And then now that we drive, like most of the places, the only time we'll take like public transport is we're going into the city. And then like Rena said, sometimes we drive as well. So it just depends on this. Yeah.
Do you guys have any like ideas about, I guess US doesn't really have slang or like our own stuff, but are there any words that you heard while you were here that you had no idea what the hell we were talking about?
Or like just things that you saw that you thought maybe were like what the hell is this? Or like weird or different or something. I don't know.
What did we say? I guess, no, we have that here as well. I was going to say like in LA, we saw quite a bit of like religious, like.
Oh yeah, they were a bit
like
scary.
signs, like people like, And it wasn't just like, you think like, oh, it's just like the Christianity. No, like it was like, we saw like Christian, we saw like Hindu, like those people like singing and dancing up and down like the pier. And we were like, oh, okay. Which is like, it happens here, but like, like no one ever walks around with like a sign. Like no one's gonna like, there was like in LA, like we'd be crossing the street and they'd have like this massive sign, like, you know, Jesus is the way, like whatever.
Yeah.
Here it's like people come up to you and they'll try and convince you to like go to their church or whatever. But
yeah, I don't think other than that, I feel like, I guess it was just the way of life being very different was shocking. And being like, just that, I think. But
how often do you guys eat like fast food? Because you guys have so many options, which we found so interesting.
I don't eat fast food that often. Growing up, I think I used to eat it like maybe like once a week, once every 2 weeks. But now I don't really eat it as much anymore. I think my stomach just can't really like handle it anymore these days. But yeah,
Haran's body's a temple.
I don't know if we're like the target demographic, but it's really common. Like they're everywhere, like everywhere.
Yeah.
For reference, like when we were in college, like our first year, we lived on campus, and the dorms that Haran and I lived in were like probably like a 30-second walk away from like a Chick-fil-A, Pizza Hut, like little thing that we could use our like school money card on.
Right.
So the
like
accessibility was
had,
crazy.
Like, their college, like you say, in your friends or the private school kids like had their colleges like restaurants inside the college. Yeah. For us, it was like there was literally like Chick-fil-A inside of it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think that's cool because when I go to uni, I struggle to get food.
Yeah,
it's all like either healthy or expensive. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everything's fine in moderation, but then when you think about like the average American, I mean, this is kind of the reason why they're like all obese. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think like within our friend group, I think most people end up eating fast food like if it's like a night out, like after drinking or something like that, because like something fast and casual to get. But I mean, there's a lot of people in America that like rely on fast food for like just meals like throughout the week. So
it's like the most accessible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like when we go out, we eat like fast food as well. Like just grab like Macca's or like pizza, kebabs. Yeah, that's a huge thing here.
Ooh, kebabs. So good.
HSB. Do you guys have HSB there?
No.
It's called Halal Snack Pack. It's like chips and meat and sauce. And it's like
it's perfect after a night out.
It's amazing. Everyone just sits on the curb and just eats that.
But the chips as in like French fries, right? Is that you guys also call it chips?
There you go.
I didn't know if Australia also called it chips.
Yes. Every restaurant we went to, we'd ask for chips, and they'd be like, "We don't have chips. We have French fries." I'm like, it's the
like
same thing.
We call like French fries like the thin cut, like
chips,
and then like chips are like, you know, the fish and chips sort of like thin cut chips. But every time we'd go, like I remember we were at Universal and they would be like, oh, like hot dog and chips for like $10 or like $20 or whatever. And I would be like, oh, I'm so excited. Like I love hot chips. And then I'd give you like a packet of like Doritos or some weird. And I'm just like, oh, it's great.
Yeah.
But you guys call that? You guys also call that crisps?
Yeah, crisps.
No?
Sometimes we just call it chips as well.
Chips as well, but I think we know what we're like. We call them hot chips. I think maybe that's why.
Yeah, hot chips.
Yeah, hot chips and then French fries and
It's crazy. Hot chips here is just spicy chips.
Yeah. Flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah, flaming hot Cheetos.
That's definitely something I miss. Like I tried to grab a packet.
They have it here. They have it here.
Do they where?
At the American store.
The American
We have this store called USA Foods, and they sell egos there, and that changed my life. Like I drove 30 minutes to that store whenever I went to this. Like,
that's
it is amazing.
That's a good. That's that's
we
worth
miss
the
one thing we don't have. We don't
Yeah.
have good waffles here.
Yeah.
We don't have like good like frozen sausages. Like, we don't have any of that good stuff.
Like maple sausages, like your breakfast items are so good. Like I can't,
breakfast burritos. Oh, amazing.
Everything was just it was top notch. Because even when you were eating at home, like you would just look forward to breakfast. Or like, okay, we don't have flavored cream cheese. And
that's so
I became a huge bagel person when I was there because they would have like blueberry cream cheese, like mixed berry, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, like everything. And then I came here and even our bagels, just not the same. It's the basic cream cheese. And I miss that.
We have to make our own flavored cream cheese now. Like mix it together.
You guys actually should you make some dummy money.
Bringing it to Australia.
Yeah.
No,
just make
That's
it.
actually true. If you make it like dry cream cheese,
untap,
sell it.
Yeah.
You could. I think you could buy it.
It would go crazy.
I'm sure you could do it.
Yeah.
I think it would go off because honestly, that's probably one of that was my favorite thing every day. I would have 2 bagels, massive 2 bagels,
right.
and I was just
too many bagels.
No,
sometimes I would have the
bagel
big
person
ones.
as well. I can't.
You know, when Prime comes out, you can package the Prime with the flavored cream cheese combo deal.
Someone
deal.
Yeah.
You're gonna bang. You're gonna bang.
I considered that. I was like, I could bring some back because they sell it here for $20 a bottle.
Oh my god,
it's so expensive.
Holy
because we don't have it and everyone wants it.
Yeah.
So but I was like, no, I didn't have weight. If I had more weight, I would have totally brought back and resold. But I only bought it for my friends' birthdays and stuff.
Oh, don't worry. When Harsha comes to Australia on the ticket he just bought, he'll just pack only Prime, no clothes. You can buy clothes. You can buy clothes with the profit you make.
The new KSI flavor and just bring it in.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I'll bring some cream cheese too.
Yeah, can you please, and maple
I just don't know how to
sausages.
get it. I've been looking everywhere. Just
They don't sell it anywhere, and not even at USA Foods.
Yeah,
it's flopping.
it sucks. One thing I did realize, when we were in America though, which I found really interesting, was we are obsessed with sport here, but I think what we found there was the level of obsession over college football or stuff like that was so interesting to me because I think Harsha, Sujay, right? Sujay, he would be sitting in front of the TV and oh my gosh, the stress levels would be next. Yeah, when his team lost, I was like, oh, okay. People are so proud of their college there. Here, it's I go to Monash, but I wouldn't. I'm not gonna go cry over them.
We always joke about it. Yeah. Well, because I go to Melbourne Uni and she goes to Monash Uni. So we're imagine if we had a Melbourne versus Monash basketball game. 2 people would show up. No one. The 2 biggest unis in the state, and no one.
I'm
would
not
show
that
up.
proud of it.
No one cares at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think school spirit's a big thing in colleges in the States here. But I will say, since graduating, at least me personally, I don't really keep up with Virginia Tech sports as much as I used to when I was there.
We suck also, though.
Yeah, we also do suck. I'm sure if we were better, I'd probably brag more about it to people who would ever care. But there's a lot of people that graduate and then still go back to their school to watch games.
Yeah.
They follow their team. If the team goes to a bowl game at the end of the year, across the country, they'll fly out. They'll do everything to go support them. We're not like that, but it's weirdly big here. I'm not really sure why.
I've seen celebrities in their speeches, winning Emmys and stuff, talk about their colleges at the end.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I was like, you graduated 20 years ago. What are you on about? Who cares?
There's not much of a culture here, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It's just part of being an American, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, when we were in LA, that was we had a one night stopover in LA for just because our flights were delayed and cancelled and stuff. And the entire hotel was
it was the finals of the college football
it was
finals.
Texas versus Georgia.
Yeah.
Texas that final.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Christian College, and then Georgia, and it was just purple and orange. I think those were the colors.
Yeah.
And we were we felt so left out. I was
everyone stared at us and we were not wearing a color. We were wearing black, and they were
and it was so interesting. Even at the breakfast setup, they would group together. It would be you'd see little C's of purple, and then you'd see a C of orange, and it's their actual enemies. It's so funny.
Yeah. Actually, the funny thing about that game, so it rained in LA that day, that big day of the game, and the Texas fans were sitting at the top of SoFi Stadium, and SoFi Stadium's not really prepared for rain, and Texas, the TCU was getting killed in that game. They were down by 50, and their fans were sitting in the rain, and the rest of the stadium they were pretty much okay, but these poor fans literally fucking flew from Texas to see their team get lose by 50 points and sit in rain for 2 hours.
Rain. Yeah,
that's so sad.
I mean, the score was pretty bad. I was like, this is embarrassing.
we don't know anything about it, but you can see,
Yeah.
I guess one last thing is that you mentioned college football, but you have something completely different. Maybe it's not completely different. Do you want to explain what footy is to us? Because we got no idea what the hell footy is.
Yeah. All right. So footy is a sport which is let's say it's a hybrid between rugby and football for you guys.
Yeah.
So you have a ball which is oval shaped, and you can bounce it, handball it, so that, and kick it, right, to people. And the way there's no guards, there's no helmets, there's nothing, and you can the way you get the ball is by tackling other people. And you can jump on their shoulders to get the balls as well. Like, it's very, very aggressive. Way more aggressive than American football, I would say. And no
because you guys
protection.
have, like, the shoulder pads.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like, these guys are, like, in singlets and shorts.
Singlets and shorts, yeah.
That's it.
And then the way you score goals is there's like 3 posts, and if you score between the 2 middle posts, it's 6 points, and between either of the 2 like side sections, it's 1 point, and then it's just whoever scores the most wins.
You have to like run it through. You have to kick it through, pass it through.
You have to kick it through the goal. If you touch it through, then it's always considered a 1, no matter what. So you have to kick it through to get a 6, and you can run from any side. It's massive field, like 25 people, I think, on each team on the field.
And you can pass it forward, right? Is that what? I don't know if you said that.
Yeah. You can run with it, but you got to bounce it every like 4 steps or something.
Oh, I think I have seen some of this before, actually.
Yeah, if you kick it and catch it, it's a mark, and no one can touch you before you kick it again. So.
Yeah. There was like one American. We had like one American.
We have a Texan. Yeah, we have a Texan.
Which I found so interesting because I'm like, how do you even know what this is? But
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like after, because it's hard to go from, because a lot of people college football and then like you don't really know what your career is after that, because
I feel like it's such a vastly different skill set though. I don't think like it has not like
that is true. Yeah, you have to like
we don't kick at all. Only the kicker kicks.
Yeah, and only like 2 people touch the ball at a time. Like it's very like I don't know. But I highly recommend like watching a video of it and seeing how these people don't get injured. It's very impressive. And very intense. Like we have a day off for the final of our footy final.
Oh wow!
So,
Wow!
Yeah, like public holiday.
Public holiday for the parade day, because just in Victoria, because it's a big deal in Victoria.
Is the league like within just your state, or is it like all of Australia?
All like majority of the teams are from like Victoria. Just
it started here, yeah.
It started here, but there's like now it's from every state. So
there's
at least
teams.
2 teams in like
every state.
Each state, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think there's 2 teams in every state, and then there's 12 teams in Victoria or something like that. Like, so.
What's the name of the team? The Melbourne team that you guys follow?
Well, we go for 2 different teams. I go for Geelong. Geelong won last year as well.
Yes.
So.
And then I go for Collingwood, which is like the Magpies, I guess.
Yeah, so we're the
there's
Cats and they're the
Cats.
Magpies. Yeah.
Okay.
We have the Kangaroos, the Swans, the like all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
Everything you can think of, yeah. Bulldogs, like any sort of animal. Or
koalas. Yeah, we don't have a koalas team. It's quite sad.
That's pretty much it. Like that's like the summary of like, which I find very like different to how football is over there.
Yeah.
So
I'd say watch a game. It's very interesting. I think it's more interesting, but I'm just biased. So I don't know.
It probably is. There's a lot of dead time in our football. So
there's a lot of it's a lot of technique and a lot of like planning.
Yes.
This is just like
just go.
Everyone's just moving. Yeah, just go. Just get forward as fast as you can and just kick it through and then start again and start again and start again. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Live for chaos.
Yeah, that's like the perfect Aussie summary. It's just chaotic. No order, no mental game. Just like keep going, get it in, and then move back. And then start again.
But it is also very like cultish as well. Like every team's like fans. Like it depends on the team, but some teams' fans can get very violent like after games, and you gotta be like really careful because
But I don't know if like your players are a big deal, because I was at a restaurant yesterday and one of the teams, like the whole team was just sitting there, and the guy who won like the highest honor was sitting with us. Or like sitting in the restaurant, and no one bothered him. Like they're not celebrities to us; they're very casual. Yeah. Like I saw him, I was like, "Oh, it's Patrick." But that's all. Like,
Patrick.
I was like, "Oh, it's Patrick and Charlie." And then I told my friend, and she was like, "Oh, okay." And then we just left. Like,
dude, I wish to see.
Them.
I've not met like a big time athlete yet. I mean, I've met like some fringe athletes, but like not like a star yet.
Yeah,
I want to so badly.
I think you can, like, if you come in the Oz, like during the Oz Open, like if you go out like clubbing and stuff, you will see like some of the younger like tennis players.
Oh yeah, I've met Coconut. I don't know if you guys know Coconut.
You met Coconut? Oh my, you met
at a club. Yeah.
A lot of our friends here have
club.
massive
This is one
crushes.
club he always goes to.
Oh, he's like so attractive.
Yeah.
Can't deny that.
Yeah, but he's so casual. Like he's just a dude. Like no one cares.
No, and he's actually, like I could say one flex is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up. So he had like this thing on his story. He posted something and he was like, it was a car, and he was trying to decide which car he was gonna get, and then he put like a little poll, and he's like, "Oh, can you like type in which one?" So then I responded like black, obviously, or something like that. And then he ended up liking like the DM and then like responding. He sent like an emoji or something like that, and I was like, damn, he knows I exist. Like, I mean, to him, it was probably just like some random
crazy,
girl,
yeah.
like, yeah.
Nice.
But like, that was a huge thing because I'm like, this guy, yeah.
And also, if you're a big Djokovic fan, like, you can meet him when you come here. Like, they do trainings outside, and you can just stand and watch them, and they come and sign stuff, and you take photos with them. So it's very casual.
Common. Yeah.
I did see though when like in the last final they had like 40,000 Serbian fans like outside like the
arena.
we
were there. Yeah, it was scary. It was terrifying. Yeah.
It was a huge, like, I'd never seen that many fans at a grand final, and we like most of them didn't have tickets to the actual stadium.
They were just standing
like,
outside in the complex.
So leaving was like hectic.
It was quite scary.
Well, then I guess it's time for us to leave this episode. We're gonna end it there. We're gonna thank Rita and Sheena for coming on the podcast. This was great. We knew nothing about Australia, as you could tell by our efforts in the slang quiz and everything. We appreciate you coming on so early in the morning. Is there anything you want to leave our listeners with? Any sort of plugs or anything like that, or a final message?
A message to Americans, maybe.
I mean, I guess thanks for having us on for starters.
Yeah,
and, like, it was really fun getting to meet a few of you guys as well. I think don't knock Australia down before you try it, I guess. Like, we're not as scary as it seems. Like,
it's great. And we don't hate America, despite
I guess,
you probably should though. But.
You guys are pretty nice in America. I feel like.
We probably hate it more than you guys do.
Fine, that's fine then.
There's like a lot of valid like we hate some of the stuff that you guys maybe like put up with, but I think the actual people and like the culture and stuff, very, very, like, we love it. It's definitely talked about here a lot. So yeah.
Nice.
But definitely come down and visit us in Australia, guys.
We'll do.
It's a
For
beautiful
sure.
country.
So, we're going to love Australia when we visit it. And just like we love Australia, we hope you love this episode. So if you like this, please check out our Instagram at An Interesting Discussion. We also follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, Prime, Twitter, HBO Max, PNC, Bank of America, all those apps. And check us out for next week for another great episode. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.